Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to address two of the kind of biggest problem areas that we had with Dylan in terms of self-care, which would be the dentist and haircuts. Well, haircuts you don't necessarily have to have done. If your child wants to have long hair, that's cool. But most of us at some point in our lives have to go to a hairdresser's. And how do you get a child who is super sensitive, doesn't really like new people or new places? How do you get them to the dentist, brush their teeth, get a haircut? So I wanted to share with you today some things that have worked for us. Let's start with the teeth. Teeth are very important because they can cause massive problems later in life. And we're always told as soon as those little shiny pegs come through, you need to brush your children's teeth. Brush them, brush them, brush them. Well, I didn't brush Dylan's teeth until he was 5, going on 6. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get a toothbrush into his mouth. I tried the autism friendly toothbrushes. I tried the 3-sided toothbrush. This works if you want to do a quick round, but Dylan just would clamp down. Literally, as soon as I put a toothbrush into his mouth, he'd go like that. I couldn't move it. So it was a bit distressing. I went to a dentist and I told him my predicament, and I said, I don't know what to do because I can't brush his teeth. He won't let me even get it in. Hates the taste of toothpaste. I don't know what to do. So he recommended this toothpaste called Nurse, which is non-foaming, no taste, and it's great for all kids with any sensitivities. Even Luca uses it because he is very sensory and he doesn't like anything with taste either. So that toothpaste was a game changer for us. The next thing is, he said to me, don't worry too much. He goes, these are baby teeth, they're gonna fall out. He goes, the most important thing to try and do is don't give them like fruit juice, sweets, that kind of stuff, because that's what rots the teeth and can cause damage. So we kept Dylan's diet very clean anyway, but we don't give him any hard sweets, or only we give him on the airplane, we give them lollies to help their ears, but that's the only time he gets like a lolly. When it was time to go to the dentist, when his teeth started to fall out, you don't really think about this. Most kids are so excited, the fact that the tooth fairy is going to come. Let me see your teeth. Do you have any teeth left?
Yeah.
You do?
I don't have any wobbly ones though.
You sound so funny when you're speaking.
I know.
How much have you got now from the tooth fairy?
I got like 5 coins.
5 coins?
Yeah, just for one tooth.
Oh my goodness, it must have been a very nice tooth. Is it a nice tooth?
Yeah. Can we count
But
it?
Dylan, when his tooth fell out, and his tooth fell out quite young, I think he was like 4.5 when his first tooth came out, he thought he was falling apart. He was like, he couldn't really talk to me either, and he was just like, oh, Mom, and he was so distressed. So we did a social story, which I kind of drew stickmen, and I was like, look, when you're 4 and 5, your teeth fall out, and you get money, or you get a present. And he was kind of a bit like, he didn't really understand this concept at first. This is, again, a preference that you might want to do. We didn't do the tooth fairy, because that was very unnerving for him. He doesn't really understand pretend play or imagination. He finds that quite difficult. So instead, I was like, right, you put your tooth here and Mommy give you a present. And he was like, oh, okay. This helped Dylan. So we didn't introduce the tooth fairy to him, not to confuse him, and to make him upset, because he didn't really want anyone coming into his room in the middle of the night and taking his tooth. That was his. So instead, we kept it in a little box that he really likes. I find it kind of odd keeping teeth, but he really likes it. Anyway, so once he got over the concept of his teeth falling out, he then was excited the next time the tooth fell out. In fact, he was so excited, he took out any wobbly tooth, he'd just go, and he'd hand it to me for a present. So he was a gummy bear for quite a few months. Then once his teeth started to fall out, I had to try and explain to him that the new teeth coming through were very important, and they stayed, because again, he thought teeth just grew and fell out and grew again. And I had to say to him, no, we have 2 teeth, baby ones, they go away, the adult ones, they stay. So we tried to do another social story to explain this to him. When we went to the dentist, the first thing I did is I phoned up. I said, I have a son with autism. Is it okay if I just come and bring him to the place, say hi to the dentist and leave? And they said that was fine. Again, most dentists are really understanding about this, and make sure you do your research and find a dentist that's family friendly as well. So the first time we went, I brought Dylan in and we introduced him to our dentist and said, hello, I'm Dylan. Okay, goodbye. And he got given a sticker for just even going in. And then the next time we went, I took him with me and I sat down first and I went, and I showed him my teeth. And then he said to Dylan, do you want to go? And Dylan said no, so he didn't. So he left again. And then I brought him back again. And the next time, Dylan just sat on the chair like he knew what was expected of him because he'd seen me do it. And the first time it was count the teeth, finished. It was very quick. And we built up on this relationship. And now we're at a stage where he's more concerned now that he's 10. He doesn't like to get yellow on his teeth. So now he's older, he does let me brush his teeth. For Dylan, he likes the electric toothbrushes because he likes the movement of it and he likes the sensation of it. Some children do not like this. And this is where the 3-sided toothbrush comes in really handy because you can quickly do it round and also show them what is expected of them. I think with our children, just telling them what's expected of them, even if they kick off, let it marinate, let them think about it a little bit and then revisit it and revisit it and revisit it. And eventually you will get there because teeth is a big thing. And, you know, I'm always saying to Dylan, you know, you really don't want to have to get to a filling because I think, God forbid, if it ever came to that, yeah, it might not be so easy. But anyway, hopefully we will avoid fillings.
Yeah, how's everything else going?
Like it's night time.
Yeah, don't you go to sleep. Right, I'm going to pop you back. I'm going to have a look at your teeth. You alright? Well done.
Oh, he's falling asleep.
Oh, don't fall asleep, Dylan. If you're going to fall asleep this way so I can count your teeth. Darn, you're doing amazingly, Dylan. That's so good, thank you. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done, that's really good. 6. Well done. You've really impressed me.
We've been preparing for this day.
1 to 3. He's amazing, Mum. 4.
Do you see we have a wobbly tooth there?
Up to 5. I can see it. Banana gel.
Oh no, he won't take any. So the next thing I'm going to go on to is the hairdresser. Oh, this I have learned the absolute hard way. So Dylan had his first haircut, I think, at like 2, and we took him to some place on the Northcote Road, Trotters, to get his haircut because it looked cool and they had a fish tank. And I thought he'd like the fish tank. So he sat in there, and as soon as they started spraying water on his hair, he kicked off. Wasn't having any of it. And I'm going, no, Dylan, it's okay, we just need to. And she literally just did a little snip, and that was it. Gave me a little curl, put it in a book. Check. But it was quite a traumatic experience. Luckily, Dylan's hair grows quite slowly, so we didn't have to do this too often. But he has very thick hair. So, you know, I would let his hair kind of grow long over the winter, but in summer he would get so hot and itchy, he needed a haircut. So some people like to just buzz cut and go, get it over and done with all in one go. But how do you get them to that point without being so distressed?
Hello.
It's the same kind of concept as the dentist. Don't just take them to the hairdressers. Tell them a week before that on Saturday, we're gonna get a haircut, and show them the social story every day leading up to that. Even if you think they're not listening, they're listening. Sometimes I say things to Dylan and think he's not listening, and I tell him every single day, nothing happens. And then on the day off, he'll say, right, we're doing this today. I'm like, oh, didn't think you heard me, because you know, sometimes I tell him things and he doesn't respond. He just carries on doing what he's doing. I'm like, Dylan, did you hear me? No? Okay, I'll just leave then. But it does actually, he is actually registering it. First time you go to the hairdressers, phone up ahead and ask when is a quiet time, or can they open 15 minutes earlier, or can you go in 15 minutes after they close? So I would tend to actually take Dylan out of school half an hour earlier when there was no one in the hairdressers, and I'd bring him in so there was no other hair dryers or other noises to upset him. I would also ask, could they turn the music off? I know I sound like a diva, but you have to make sure the environment is right for your child. So I asked them to turn the music off. I ask when there's no one else going to be in there, and most people are super understanding. All you have to do is ask, and ask nicely. You know, you're not demanding here. You're asking for your child who finds this difficult as is. So once I brought Dylan in, we met the lady who would do his hair. We would leave again, a positive experience. Every time he got a haircut, I'd give him a little token or a little present or something, so he would have a positive experience and recognition of it. So then I'd bring him in again, And then I would say to him, well, look, Dylan, it's just going to be 5 minutes. And I'd say that we'd have a timer so he knew when it was starting and when it was finishing. Because again, this is a big thing for Dylan, like when are things starting and when are things finishing. So as long as I had a social story, what was expected of him, how long it was going to be, and if after 5 minutes the haircut wasn't finished, we would walk out because it was 5 minutes was up. So now I'm like, okay, more realistic, it's going to take 20 minutes. But we would work up to it. So again, with the water, we'd spray it on his hand first so he would know what it felt like. And then we'd show him the scissors. And again, he'd want to kind of feel like what the scissors felt like, because the other thing to remember in all of this is that your hair, that's part of him. So he would actually say, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Again, when he could talk, when he was younger, he would just cry. And then I figured out he was crying because he thought it hurt him, because in his head, it did hurt him. Like, this is my hair. Why would you cut it off? But he also wanted his hair cut because it felt all sweaty and he didn't like it. So we had to try and say to him, it grows. Of course, I made the mistake once of saying that your hair was actually dead. And he was like, I am not dead. I was like, oh no, no, backtrack. No, you are not dead. Don't mention that. So I just had to say, no, hair gets cut and this is how we do it. So we built up that trust with the hairdresser. And again, if you move to a new area, we're building up trust now with our new hairdresser. So we went down and met him first. The second time, obviously he knows now what's expected of him. So he sat there. He doesn't like the thing around the neck, so I put a towel around it and I hold him. I bring his iPad and we play something that he's not played in a while, and I play with him so it keeps him occupied. And then now the, what do you call them? The clippers, the zzz things is quicker than the scissors, and he knows this. So I ask him, would he prefer scissors, which is longer, or would he prefer the electric clippers that is shorter? And now he's saying he wants the clippers because they're shorter. So he prefers that. Again, we turned it on, we put it to the back of his hand so we could feel the vibration. And we did a little bit at first, and then he was a bit like, I don't like it. And then we took it away. And then we asked him again. So it's just slowly building up this trust with them. It's not easy to get there because in the beginning it was really hard. I remember one scenario, I was sitting on the floor with him screaming and I'm holding his head. I mean, in hindsight now, it probably wasn't the best idea, but I was thinking, I mean, this is before I knew any of the stuff I'm telling you now. I didn't know about social stories back then. I didn't know about introducing them or timers or, I'm there going, look at the fish, it's fine. And kind of held him down and held his head like this while they went, he looked a bit like a convict by the end of it. He was wearing a little vest, and they literally buzz cut his head. And I was like, oh God, that does not suit you. Anyway, so we're past that point now, but it does take a while to get there. And the most important thing is no matter how traumatic the experience was, it will get easier, and just letting them know what is expected. And also, again, that all important present at the end, which makes it feel all better in the end. And make sure it's something that your child does not get often. And also when they say stop, just stop. I mean, we have, like I said, walked out with Dylan with his hair half cut. And we came back then the next week and finished it off. So he has been known to have like one side of his hair cut. And also, it depends on your child's mood. If your child is, your child better than anybody. If your child is having a bad day, cancel the hair appointment. Don't even bother. It's not going to work. If your child, you think, some days you feel like your child can take a bit more days, and like us, sometimes I'm like, I can't be bothered doing this today. And then some days I'm like, right, I can take on the world. Look for those cues in your child, And I guess this goes for other appointments too. So if your child has an eye exam, so we have taken Dylan to get his eyes tested before. Now, the best thing to do here is actually go to your doctor and get a referral to an eye specialist, because the guys in like Vision Express and, the high street shops that do eyes, they're not equipped to deal with children on the spectrum. Whereas if you get a referral to an eye specialist, they have seen everybody and they deal with young babies. They know how to kind of do that kind of thing. And also they might be able to get a play therapist in there for you as well. So the first time we had Dylan's eyes tested, he doesn't need glasses, so he's fine, but you need to test your eyes anyway. So we did get referred to the eye hospital and they had a play therapist. And the first time, again, he just did not cooperate. He didn't really understand what was expected of him. They just don't like anything that's unexpected. None of us do. We all feel a bit anxious going somewhere new. So it's 10 times, 100 times worse for them. If you can take pictures of your dentist or your doctors or any appointments you can go to beforehand, or you can go onto Google and take pictures, all this goes with the social story to show them where they're going. This all helps. So I think that's it for today. Sorry, it's short and sweet, but it's information that we all need to know. And hopefully you have found this helpful. Again, if you have any tips on what's helped you in the past, please do put it below. I love reading all your comments. Please do give us a like and a subscribe, and I will see you next week.
I got like 5 coins.
5 coins.
Yeah, just for 1 tooth.
Oh my goodness, it must have been a very nice tooth. Is it a nice tooth?
Yeah. Can we count it?
We can.